From the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York, Time Warner Cable SportsChannel presents Syracuse University basketball. Tonight, the 18th ranked Orange hosts the South Carolina State Bulldogs. Alongside Roosevelt Bowie, I'm Michael Tricarico. Rosie, you know Jim Boeheim's always looking for ways to improve. How can Syracuse improve in tonight's game?
Well, they've got to keep their defense tough, and they want to build stronger, wider, covering the floor, and work on their offense as usual.
Let's take a look at some of the key players. First for South Carolina State, they're led by a player, Eric Eves, who head coach Murray Garvin says doesn't need to be told how to score.
Yes, he doesn't need to be told how to score. We've got to learn how to play with each and every one of the players on the court, so it's very important that he learns how to do that.
On the other side, Andrew White III is such a versatile scorer, isn't he?
He can score anywhere. He can put the ball on the floor. He can catch and shoot. He can create his own shot. He's a very tough man to defend against.
Syracuse in the home white uniforms, South Carolina State, the dark red and blue. Pat Driscoll, Bill McCarthy, William Humes, your three officials tonight. And the opening tip is won by the Bulldogs. South Carolina State averages just more than 60 points per game through 3 games this season. The Syracuse defense, third in the nation, allowing just more than 50 points per contest. E.J. Eves, the leading scorer for South Carolina State, averages more than 15 points per game. Look for him to step up in this contest if the Bulldogs want to pull the upset. 2 on the shot clock. South Carolina State needs to put a shot up, and they do. Edward Stevens, the 6'2" guard from Columbia, South Carolina.
That was quite a prayer of a shot there, but Syracuse was playing them close. See if they won't get another one like that.
It all counts the same, doesn't it?
Absolutely. There's no video on that shot.
Ball moving for the Orange. Tyler Roberson can't finish. Gets his own rebound once again, cannot finish. And South Carolina State comes away with it.
Well, the positive thing you have to take away from that is Syracuse has to be on the offensive boards. You just got to learn how to finish that.
E.J. Eves and Greg Mortimer are the 2 guards that normally split the top. Edward Stevens will play a wing as well. Stevens has it here. He hit the three-pointer at the end of the shot clock in South Carolina State's first possession. 3 on the shot clock once again. Deep shot for Eves.
You know, I've been watching the floor here for South Carolina to do well. They have to control that high post area. They're not getting anything in there. Therefore, they're having to shoot such long shots. Not a high percentage shot.
Tashambe Riley is the player that will play that high post for South Carolina State. Meanwhile, Syracuse has Tyler Lydon for 3.
That's always a good thing to see Tyler Lydon open up with a three-pointer. He seems to have the lid off the rim now.
Lydon with his 3rd three-point make this season. 2 minutes into this contest, all tied at 3 between the Orange and the Bulldogs. Eves penetrates, surrounded by all white jerseys outside. This shot is rebounded by Andrew White for the Orange. White from outside, and he hits. Andrew White III picking up where he left off on Friday.
There's also great position on the inside by DeJuan Coleman, so very good.
3-pointers galore for both teams as DeJuan Coleman grabs the rebound off Riley's miss. Roberson surrounded, and a foul.
That's one thing South Carolina State has to do well. They're smaller, they're quicker. When that ball goes into the inside, they have to collapse and make sure it's very difficult to get a shot on the inside.
How difficult is it for a smaller team to play against a mid-major team to play against a major conference team like Syracuse with that size disparity?
You know, it's very difficult, but you have to fight them where you're stronger. So you're quicker, you get the ball at the floor, get the shots off before they get set on defense.
White from outside. Roberson skies for the offensive rebound. Lots of hands against Roberson. As the Orange still comes away with it. Roberson mid-range. And a foul as Tyler Lydon fought for the rebound. Syracuse averages 14 offensive rebounds per game, something that Syracuse head coach Jim Boeheim has been asking for more of.
You know, when you have a team that shoots the ball as well as they do, they get the shots that they want. People have to play defense on those long shots. That opens the court up for a lot of offensive rebounds, no boxing out.
The zone for the South Carolina State team as Roberson catches a foul. As Ian Kiner thought he had all ball. Roberson heading to the line.
That's something that's very important also for Syracuse, to take advantage of their size on the inside. If the big guys can cut to the basket and get open, you got to take advantage of where you're the strongest and fight them where you're the strongest.
It's the second foul on Kiner, the 6'8" freshman. Kiner will head to the bench as Azante Fields, a 6'7" freshman from Denmark, South Carolina, checks into the game. Tyler Roberson, the 6'8", 226-pound senior at the line. His second free throw is good, so 2 of 2 from the line for Tyler Roberson. Syracuse's lead is at 5, and now the Orange is going to press.
Syracuse has this great press, because what makes a press great is having a big guy in the back that can block shots, and Pascal can definitely do that.
Pascal Chukwu's highest battle into the game for Daewon Coleman and Andrew White III. Ball will stay with South Carolina State. 5 seconds off the shot clock, so now the Bulldogs have just 5 seconds to get it over midcourt. This was a rule change last year. Teams have 10 seconds to get it over midcourt. It used to be if it went out of bounds, you called timeout. You had the full 10 seconds again, no matter where the shot clock was. Starting last year, it's 10 seconds in total, no matter what happens, unless there's a foul. Eaves inside, can't finish, and here comes the Orange.
It's really tough when you have a shot blocker like that way in the back.
Howard to the lane, untouched.
Big props to Pascal, because he basically blocked the defensive man behind him to give his teammate a free shot at the basket.
Open 3 for E.J. Eaves, rebounded by Tyler Roberson. Tyler Lydon open for 3. Chukwu rebounds. Lots of contact, no foul. SU retains possession.
I don't think Pascal has a number on his uniform now. He got fouled so many times.
It's a tough game inside. You would know it best, right?
Hey, there's a lot of things you can't see. Step on your foot, pull your shoelaces.
Howard from outside. Franklin Howard knocks down his 6th three-pointer of the season. The Bulldogs the other way. The floater no good. And Syracuse gets the ball. Well, the Orange is doing it from outside. 3 three-pointers for SU. The Orange is up by 10 points, doing it all over the court.
Here on Coach's Corner, Michael Tricarico, and I'm joined by Syracuse head football coach Dino Babers. Coach, we're coming off the bye week. How did you spend the time off?
Well, you know, anytime on a bye week, you want to try to. You got to do 2 things. You have to get your football team, the underbelly of your football team, better. You have to find a way to get your 3s and 2s to be a lot better than what they are, and then you have to find an opportunity to rest your 1s. One of the things that has not been good is we've never really gotten away from any opponents that we've played except for our first game at Colgate. So we've played 7 games where our starters had to basically play the entire duration of the game minus 4 or 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. So those guys, the 1s are really banged up. So we practiced, Monday and Tuesday, and then we gave them 4 days off. I took the Wednesday to go see my daughter play volleyball. It's only the 4th time in her entire career that I got an opportunity to see her. She's a senior at Texas A&M, and they had an opportunity to upset Missouri, who was ranked number 1 in the SEC while I was there. And I just want you to know that I'm 4-0 in games that I've attended to see my daughter. So I'm their lucky charm piece. The later on in the week, it was Eastern Seaboard recruiting, Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York. Got to see some of our top prospects that are committed to us. I got back in very late Saturday night, and then early team meeting on Sunday to get them ready for Clemson, and with a Sunday practice as well with the initial scouting report. So A lot of people think you're rested and you feel good after the bye week. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I've got bags underneath my eyes, and I couldn't be any happier because those are the things that you need to do.
No time off for you. Coach, how good of a time did this bye week come for your team for those reasons you mentioned?
Oh, I think it was definitely necessary. You would like to have another one in there earlier in the season, but we desperately needed this, and we got some of the bumps and bruises healed. Now, I'm sure that Clemson's going to try to raise those things back up, swell them back up for us, but we definitely need this before we start our November stretch.
Clemson's going to be the third straight top 15 defense that you guys play. How can you be successful against this Clemson D?
You know, we've got to cross our T's and dot our I's. We have to be consistently good, not occasionally great. We have to go about business the way we do the things that we do, and we have to execute and fundamentally be right. And, you know, we have an opportunity, we got a chance. That's all we got. So we better try to take advantage of it.
Clemson is the second-ranked team in the country overall and as well as getting sacks. They average almost 4 sacks per game. How can you help prevent Clemson getting into your backfield?
Well, first of all, we need to target correctly and make sure we protect from inside out. The ball needs to come out of our hand fast. I think we do a good job with that. And then we got to pick and choose when we want to go further down the field and have some opportunities. But these guys are exceptional. There's 5 stars all across the board.
Switching sides of the ball to the offense for Clemson, what are some things that they do well that make them such a great team?
Well, I think, first of all, they have a very aggressive defense. You know what I mean? And offensively, they have either 1A or 1B, one of the top players in the country. So you put that quarterback around exceptional offensive skill. Their wide receivers are fantastic. Running backs that can make plays with a big physical offensive line, a D-line with a bunch of number 1 draft picks, linebackers that separate running backs from the ball. And, the secondary where guys can flat cover people. They're a complete football team. They really are. And then their special teams will come up and bite you. If you don't do a good job there, it's going to be a very daunting task.
Even with that daunting task, where is the confidence of your football team knowing that they can compete with some of the best teams, having already upset a really good Virginia Tech team?
You know, Virginia Tech win was something that was exceptional, and it's always fantastic to see how the student body and the community and administration rallied around the team after something like that. And we take great pride in that. This football team is really, really good. And we probably need to play absolutely our best game of the year, and they're probably going to have to do some things wrong for us to have an opportunity.
How tough is it to go into an environment down in Clemson, in Death Valley, where you know the crowd is going to be loud and tough to play in front of? What's it like going into that atmosphere?
I would hope that it's going to be a lot like coming to play in the Carrier Dome when we get back against NC State and Florida State. Home field advantage is a huge thing, and it's going to be hard for us to communicate. It's going to be hard for us to hear, and it's going to affect the way we play. But even though there's 100,000 people down there, when we come back, if we fill up the dome with 40,000, I promise you our 40,000 can make as much noise as their 100,000 in the Carrier Dome.
Defensively for you guys, it seems like you've given up a lot less big plays. How have you seen the progression of the defense throughout this season now going into Game 9?
You know, our terminology on defense is it's not simple. And you have to totally buy in and you have to totally understand what's going on. We've had massive turnover on the back end. We've had numerous starters on the front end. Really, the only thing that's really been consistent is the linebackers and Corey Winfield. You know, I think that almost every other position has had some turnover. And I think it's just a situation of a lot of the guys finally getting it and being in the right place. And instead of being beaten mentally, they're having to be beat physically, which is a lot tougher to do.
Coach, what's the number one key for your team to have a shot to pull this upset against Clemson?
I don't know.
It's not easy.
No, the big thing is we're going to have some turnovers. Yeah. I mean, if we can get ahead in the turnovers, win the turnover battle, keep penalties down to a low, and keep it close in the fourth quarter, maybe we'll have a shot.
All right, Coach, as always, really appreciate the time, and good luck against Clemson.
Thanks, Mike.
That's Syracuse head coach Dino Babers. Syracuse and number 2 Clemson coming up. on WAER.
Albany with a 1-goal lead. The Great Danes scored the first 2 of this contest before Syracuse got a transition goal to cut the deficit down to 1. Sean Eccles has a rocket for a shot, guarded by Safari. Double team comes. Bergmaster has a goal. As Albany is just working the ball around the outside. It's all about movement for this Scott-Mar offense. They play off each other well. Furman has to help as Patterson spun away from the Syracuse defense. Just more than 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. Right now it's Justin Ray playing quarterback for this Albany team. Again, him and Connor Fields are interchangeable. It's whatever matchup that the team likes better. Double team comes, crossfield pass, Eccles with a shot, and it goes wide.
Early on, Eccles has been getting these open opportunities. His shot finder just a little bit off, but he's somebody that Albany wants to see take those shots. Even if he's been off a little bit early on, he can make such a difference with a rocket shot that you'll take those misses because on other times he will give you spectacular goals.
Fields guarded by Furman. Syracuse's top defenseman on Albany's top player. Pass deflected. Loose ball. Dearth couldn't scoop it up. Instead, it's Albany who has it with Patterson. Jacob Patterson, a freshman, a 2-time All-American in high school. Patterson guarded by Safari. A couple of subs come into the game. Here's McClancy, part of the first line midfield. Adam Osika comes in as well. Patterson draws the double team. Ball loose on the ground, and Bomberry picks it up for the Orange. Syracuse with a clear attempt after the defensive stop for SU. Joe Gillis easily brings the ball across midfield and towards the box to complete the clear. Less than 3 to play first quarter. The Syracuse offense has been held in check. SU scored 19 goals against Siena in game number 1 this year. Albany certainly a step up in competition, but the defense is really the question mark for the Great Danes. And with Colarusso in goal, Albany's defense has been playing very well early on.
Yeah, right now Syracuse has gotten some good opportunities in front, but Colarusso has done such a great job of making the big saves when he's needed to.
Here's Bomberry in front. Another low save for Colarusso. What more can you say about the redshirt junior? His 5th save of the game, both high and low.
And he's not one of the biggest guys on the field, only at 5'8", but he's so good at covering every angle. And right now you see Syracuse again with a great opportunity there. Bomberry takes the shot, but Colarusso gets low again and makes another fantastic save in this first quarter.
Albany with the 1-goal lead. Just more than 90 seconds to play in quarter number 1. Jack Bergmaster, Kyle McClancy, the 2 goal scorers for the Great Danes. Bennett Drake turned away, gives to Fields. 80 seconds left in quarter number 1. Fields had 44 goals last year, 66 as a freshman. That's an all-time Division I goals record for a freshman when Fields was able to score 66 of them 2 years ago. Been a 2-time Inside Lacrosse All-American. Preseason second-team selection this year. 1 minute to play in the first quarter. Fields trying to do it himself right now. Eli Lazda tries to scoot around Joe Gillis. John Glancy, one of a few captains for this Albany team, as the shot clock call comes on. Low shot is off the crossbar. Patterson had an opening. That waves the shot clock off with 33 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Syracuse trying to put a little bit of pressure on, but the problem is with this Albany team, they have so many great dodgers that if you make a mistake and you put too much pressure on, they can blow past you and put the ball right in the back of the net.
Crossfield pass comes to Lazda, some space, and a goal! Eli Lazda rips it past Evan Malloy, and the Great Danes are up by 2.